of course, Hazel will talk about the Rocky Mountaineer, which sort of ties it all together in a fabulous way to arrive or to leave. Okay, Hazel, you are looking good. So welcome back to the Canada Specialist Program series. So lovely to have Hazel with us from Rocky Mountaineer today. Hazel, over to you.
Oh, thanks, Charlie. Yeah, delighted to be here to talk to you all about Rocky Mountaineer. Hopefully some of you have maybe been out to Western Canada, you've maybe been on the train, so this will be a nice little refresher for you as well. But Rocky Mountaineer, we were actually founded back in 1990, and our founder had this great vision of taking guests through the spectacular landscape of the Canadian Rockies, this amazing ever-changing landscapes. And as you saw in Lynn's presentation, oh my goodness, the scenery is absolutely glorious. And although we have great scenery in our part of the world, the scale of the scenery out in Western Canada is absolutely awe-inspiring. So Rocky Mountaineer, we go through the provinces of British Columbia and Alberta. And we're an all daylight service from the months of April through to October. So you've got 3 really good seasons to choose from, depending what your clients would like to see and do. And also as well, it's a great opportunity to combine this with a cruise to Alaska as well. So Vancouver is our home base. And as you can see, that's one of my favorite cities. I know Adam was touching on that, but it's just a glorious city. It's really got the best of everything. That great cosmopolitan downtown area, as well as Stanley Park, where you can go cycling around the seawall. You can go whale watching from there. You can also go to Capilano Suspension Bridge. Got the gondola up to Grouse Mountain, see the couple of bears that they have in this amazing habitat up there. So there's loads to do in Vancouver. And when you're starting to put together your itineraries around Rocky Mountaineer and spending time in British Columbia and Alberta, or maybe cruising as well, it's always really good to maybe tie in about 2 or 3 nights in Vancouver, just to really give your clients a really good flavour of everything that the city has to offer. So for our rail routes that are based in Western Canada, they all operate east or westbound, and they all begin or end in Vancouver. So looking at our little route map, you can see there we've got 3 different routes there in Western Canada. 2 of these are 2-day rail journeys with an overnight hotel stay in Kamloops. And then we have a 3-day rail journey as well. So let's have a little dip into our most popular selling route, which is our First Passage to the West route. Now, if any of you have been following all the great train TV programmes that we've had over the last few years, you might recognise this route as being the route that Michael Portillo travelled on with us. So he was one of our guests on board the train, and they even got him into one of our host uniforms and had him serving in the restaurant. So that was a real fun experience for him, and also the guests there as well, of course, that were on the train. So this is our most popular selling route. You've got 2 days on the train of glorious scenery as we make our way from Vancouver to Kamloops in the interior of British Columbia, and then on to Banff or Lake Louise, which Lynn had some great images there of those destinations. So lots of great scenic highlights on this particular route. You've got Stony Creek Bridge, which is this amazing 200-metre long truss arch bridge. You've got Castle Mountain, that when the explorers went through there, they thought it looked like a medieval castle. And then you've got Vermilion Lakes, which is a great set of 3 different lakes that's very close to Banff. Also, the highlights in this route are great feats of engineering. You've got some amazing bridges and tunnels that you're going to travel through, but one of those sets of tunnels is called the Spiral Tunnels, one of my favourite feats of engineering on this particular route, where guests will actually travel through 2 different mountains at 2 different heights. And if you're coming through the top mountain, when you've gone through the lower tunnel and you've meandered through the valley and then gone through the top tunnel, you can actually look back down into the valley and see the lower tunnel that you travelled through. And if you imagine you had one of these massive big freight trains that were travelling along the tracks, you could actually see the beginning and end of the freight train, and they would be wrapped around those tunnels. So it's absolutely fabulous. One of my favourite routes. And you've got the choices of Banff or Lake Louise as the opportunity to begin or end your journey with Rocky Mountaineer. And then moving on to our second 2-day rail journey in Western Canada is our journey through the clouds. So you've got 2 days again on the train with that overnight hotel stay in the interior British Columbia and Kamloops, and then you're heading to Jasper. Now, lots of great opportunities to spot some wildlife on our rail experiences, but Jasper's famous for lots of elk there. They've got well over 300 elk, and quite often you'll see them meandering down the main street. I've been out there before a few years back, and they were just you know, quite happily traipsing through the main street. Nobody was bothering them, but as Lynn did say, they are wild animals, and it's always good to leave them a good bit of space, especially when they're in the rutting season, when they're all fighting for those females. So it's a bit like a Saturday night out when they're all vying for the same female. So it's best to give them a wide berth, nice to look at from a distance. So on this particular route, lots of great scenic highlights as well. You've got the Pyramid Falls, which is amazing 300-foot high waterfall where you can see the gallons of water cascading down through a couple of rock formations. You've got Moose Lake, you've got Mount Robson, the highest peak in the Canadian Rockies at just under 4,000 meters. So lots of great scenic opportunities there. And this is also a great route if you're planning to maybe do the scenic highway and travel down from Jasper down to Banff and Lake Louise, maybe taking the Columbia Icefield or the Skywalk. So there's lots of great opportunities if you're going to begin or end your journey with us in Jasper. And then Rainforest to Gold Rush, if any clients are looking for longer days on the train, then you've got 3 days on the train, overnight hotel staying in Whistler and Grinnell on this one. So you've got a couple of really nice overnights on this particular route. So you've got those 3 days on the train. And just to call out that this one is only available in Gold Leaf. So as you'll know, we have our Silver Leaf and our Gold Leaf levels of service, which we'll look at in a little minute. But Rainforest to Gold Rush is just Gold Leaf only. You've got the House Sound on this particular route, which that northwest area of Vancouver, fabulous network of fjords where you can see for miles. You've got another smashing bridge that you're going to travel through, the Fraser Swing Bridge, another opportunity to get a little peek at Mount Robson there, the highest peak in the Canadian Rockies. So whichever route that your clients are looking to travel with us on, they're going to have a spectacular time because they're going to see ever-changing landscapes, some spectacular scenery, and go through some amazing feats of engineering. When you think about it, when those were completed back in the late 1900s, that, you know, we didn't have the same plant machinery that we have now. It's a real feat of engineering. So those are clients are going to have the most spectacular time, whichever route they try on board with us. And also, if they're combining it with a cruise, more than 60% of our guests will combine this with a cruise to Alaska. So lots of great opportunities to combine those two wow holidays together. And if you think about our guest demographic, about 60% of our guests are retired, but 64% are couples. And then in the age bracket as well, that age bracket 55 to 64, that would account for 27% of our guests. But many of them are doing that kind of wish list holiday. They've been maybe saving up to do a special occasion holiday. So we have lots of guests that are celebrating lots of great special life events on board with us. And as well as the rail only components that we have that you can create your own wonderful itineraries around, or you can dip into our packages. We've got a great selection of holiday packages built around the train with lots of these great fun activities, such as Ice Explorer that Lynn shared with you earlier. As part of the Columbia Icefield, you've got the Skywalk there. You could do little lake cruises. You've got the Banff Gondola, and again, see those spectacular mountains from Sulphur Mountain. And I was just out there in April, and I was really lucky to be out doing the Banff Gondola. And the first day we had gorgeous sunshine. It was really warm, and that was like mid-April. And then the next morning we woke up to a complete blanket of snow. It was absolutely magical. And I think that's one of the great benefits of whenever you're traveling through the different seasons, you see something different. And just having those little snow-capped mountains is just really magical. It's such a magical time to spend out in Western Canada. And then if we look at our levels of service, so we looked at the routes that we have, let's have a little dip into our levels of service. So we have 2 different levels of service. We have our single level custom design domes, which is our Silverleaf cars. This gives you a nice little side shot. So you can see that you've got these large oversized picture windows in the curve of the dome. And then the door that you actually will join the train, they actually clip that back like a stable door, if you like. Clip it back and you can actually lean out, take photographs and enjoy that fresh mountain air. And bearing in mind that the train is only travelling at an average speed of 30 miles an hour, there's enough time to really enjoy the scenery, enjoy those photographic opportunities as well. And lots of great stories from our onboard hosts. They're going to give you lots of great stories, little history of the tracks. They'll share little anecdotes of their own personal experiences. They'll also help you call out some wildlife as well. And our guests on board are really good at calling out, like, bear in the left, bear in the right. And everybody lurches to see, where is that life, and hopefully it's still going to be there when you actually get the chance to get a little photograph. And sometimes it's just nice to, as Lynn says, sit back and relax and just soak up the scenery and just enjoy the whole experience. It's a really social environment on board the train as well. You know, quite often you'll see people you know, engaging with their fellow guests. They make lifelong friends when they leave the train. And then you've got, as I say, the host looking after your food and beverage service on board, as well as those great little stories. It's a fully all-inclusive service on board. So you've got all your drinks, your teas and coffees, your snacks, as well as your hot breakfasts and your hot lunches. And talking of drinks, I mean, it's really interesting how much alcohol is consumed on board the train. We're so globally, we've welcomed more than 2 million guests, you know, and it's always 5 o'clock somewhere, as they say. So it would be rude not to engage in a nice little cheeky tipple when you're on board the train. So I just thought I'd just share with you what our most popular drink on board is a Baileys. And last year we went through nearly 5,100 bottles of Baileys on board the train. That was closely followed by vodka, my little tipple of choice, which was our next favourite. And then if beer is your tipple of choice, then we went through nearly 42,000 beers that were served on board the train. So we, as I say, it's always 5 o'clock somewhere, and our guests obviously love the service on board and love to engage in those great drinks. And then in terms of wine, we had nearly 65,000 bottles of wine that we went through, with Sauvignon Blanc being our most popular. And because you're traveling through these amazing provinces that have not only this great scenery that you're traveling through, it's famous for amazing produce as well. So we have those wines from the Okanagan Valley in the interior of British Columbia. We also have the beef from Alberta, the salmon from the Pacific. So lots of great produce that's showcased on board the train. So our menus are really carefully created with those regions that you're traveling through in mind, as well as obviously the beverages where we can pair those from the regions as well. So you get that really immersive experience on board. And as you can see there, here's one of our hosts that's looking after our guests in Silverleaf with our drink service. And then moving on to Gold Leaf, which is our custom designed bi-level dome. So you can see that you've got the upstairs seating area, which is this area here. Got the private restaurant downstairs, which is exclusive to our guests that are traveling in Gold Leaf service. And then you've got this fabulous outdoor viewing platform. So this gives you a nice little side profile. So guests will go downstairs and have their breakfast and their lunches there. They'll have their snacks upstairs and their drink service as well. And then you've got these amazing panoramic views from up the upstairs seating area. The seats in here are absolutely sumptuous. They're leather upholstery. They've got little temperature settings in there, so you can get a nice little heated seat. You've got lumbar support in there as well, your footrest, so they're absolutely fabulous. And as you can see there, there's lots of space for guests to move around. And if you've got any guests with any mobility concerns whatsoever, we have a lift on board, so we can actually pop guests in this little lift, and that will connect them with the 2 levels. So if they're going downstairs for their lunches and their breakfast and lunches, then they'll be able to use that little lift. We also have lifting equipment at the station. So if the steps are maybe just not quite right for our guests to utilise, then we've got lifting equipment, little hydraulic lifts that will take them onto the platform of the train. So we've got lots of good mobility measures in place. If guests have any concerns for that, just let us know in advance and we can make sure that we can look after them. And then in terms of, obviously we're past lunchtime, so hopefully you've all had your lunch, but I'm just going to give you a little temptation there of some of the dishes that we have on board. This is in our Gold Leaf service, which is this gorgeous salmon dish. So it's a really lovely way to sort of enhance that romance of the rails, if you like, when guests are going downstairs to have their breakfast and the lunches in the restaurant. You've still got those large picture windows there, so you're not going to miss any of that great scenery when you have these fabulous flavours on board the train. And then you've got this outdoor viewing platform. As I say, we're all about slow travel, all about travelling at that nice slow pace of 30 miles an hour, really connecting with the scenery, being immersed in the regions that you're travelling through. So take advantage of this great outdoor viewing platform when you can, when you're on board. And also just to call it as well, we don't have any Wi-Fi on board because it's all again about really connecting with the regions that you're traveling through, as well as those traveling companions that you're with, and really spending some good quality time in spectacular surroundings. We've got lots of tools and resources to help you out with. We've got a great agent portal which has live availability. So you might be booking with us direct, or you might be working with one of your preferred travel partners. So you can obviously check live availability on the agent portal, or you can ask them to do so. We've got our tracks training program, which would take you about an hour to complete. Any of your colleagues that are not able to join in today, then please encourage them to sign up for tracks, and also sign up for Inside Track as well, because that keeps you up to date with any offers that we have, any just product updates along the way. And we've got a huge amount of marketing resources at your fingertips, lots of great video content, little posts that we can share with you from our partnership marketing team. But like Lynn said, I'll follow up as well with some resources and lots of great video content that I can share with you. And we also have this fun little sales sheet generator that you can download from the portal. Really nice if you want to include that in an itinerary that you're maybe building out for clients. You can personalize this. There's no pricing on it. You can, and that just means that you can download a specific itinerary from the website. And then just lastly, as we wrap this up, just want to quickly share with you that we have our early booking bonus now on. It's available to book by the 5th of July. You've got some great savings on our Canadian routes for Gold Leaf and Silver Leaf bookings. That's on our rail only. And as I say, if you're booking through your preferred partner, they will be able to access that offer too. And it's combinable with our Travel Again loyalty program. So if any guests would love to come back and travel with us again, we'd love to welcome them back. So I'd just like to say thank you for giving me this opportunity to join you this afternoon. And like Lynn says, any questions, happy to answer them.
Thank you, Hazel. Breathe. Didn't mean to hurry you at the end there. It's
That's
always
okay.
hard because we know
It's
there's
always hard. We've got so much to talk about.
so much information. So if you would like to learn more about Rocky Mountaineer, please reach out to Hazel. Of course, she can do another update for you and or go into more depth. There's so much, Hazel. So many package options, more to learn about the destinations, the accommodation, so much to do. So well done, Hazel. Thank you so much.